Alright, let's go. Oh, let's go. Oh yeah, this one. This thing I need to do. Should work. It does good. Good. Alright. Alright, let's go. Ugh. I get this here first. Oh, whoop. One moment, gonna get the camera. Get that camera. Oh, whoop. Here it comes. Here it is. Oh, there it is. Alright. Alright. Yes, you see, huh? So how did they do it? Because of the combining stuff? Combining fixes it. Alright, get the water. Get the coffee. Or how else? How else did they fix it? What did they do to it? Yes, you see. The same game design. Feels good, man. That sounds nice. That sounds nice. Fighting actually makes sense now. It's a nice way to make, some form of crafting that is a little more exciting, I guess. That is a little more fun. I see, alright. The super weapon. Well, I mean, probably kills, just you two, I guess. You know. It works. Kinda. Everyone died, alright. Totally works then, There we go. There we go. Alright. Whoop. we go. And done. Alright, good. Clean the grinder. Gotta clean the grinder. Tomorrow is Monday already. Oh, the RPG Monday. More of work segment tomorrow. Gotta get some more progress. Get that super progress there. See how it will go. See how long it is. A pretty good game. It'll be nice to play some more. Probably not gonna finish it tomorrow yet. Next Monday, I guess, hopefully. Probably. Alright. Yes, these they are. More holidays. The Thursday is the office for you, I see. That's when you suffer. This week everything's gonna be kind of odd. Next week, rather. Everything's gonna be all over the place. Gonna be off Tuesday. Then Wednesday, Thursday, we have shows to watch. And streams to do. Then gonna be off on a Saturday too next week. Silly damn, I see. It's like Friday, I'm gonna call it like an hour earlier probably. Most likely, maybe a bit less, we'll see. Because my mom gonna be driving from work, picking us up with my brother to go to the summer house. And then probably Sunday we'll be back already. Maybe a bit late, we'll see. Might return on Saturday, really. Well, we will see. Yeah, gonna decide. Got discussing my brother still. I don't really mind going Sunday morning. But like waking everyone up too. Not that good. It's also quite the trip from there, really, but we'll see. Yeah, we will see. Go. But I mean, holidays are good. I get some chill time. It's always nice. It's gonna be a bit of a busy time though for us with all the shows. But that's the good kind of busy. Well, that's the good kind of busy. Gonna watch all of them shows. With all the announcements. As well, just pour it all. And we already started next week. PlayStation with Warhammer. It's gonna be good. Already, hopefully, a bunch of dang news, yeah? Even though they kinda leaked some of this stuff, looks like, from PlayStation announcements, but you know, whatever. This is the I see. Looking forward the most. No, well, I mean, PlayStation, yeah, for sure. Like, they haven't done some stuff, you know, like this in a while, so they should drop some. They should drop some bangers there, I guess. Warhammer is nice also. Warhammer is kind of like the concentration of nice, usually is not that crazy. Because there is a bunch of like mobile stuff again. But still exciting. Still exciting. But yeah, the Summer Game Fest is gonna be huge. The opening show with announcements. Xbox, I kinda not sure actually what they're gonna show, but I mean, there will be something interesting at least. Maybe we'll see some Avowed and everything. Yeah, they have a bunch of stuff in the works, really, that we haven't seen much. Avowed, the Outer Worlds 2. Like, Exile is still working on a bunch of shit. 500, that we still don't know what exactly they're working on. I mean, Bethesda gonna show some stuff there too. Well, I mean, it's gonna be separate stuff for Starfield. Which, I mean, kinda already happening anyway soon. Know what it is. So I'm kinda can't say I'm super excited to watch it. I already rather play it, but still. We'll see. Of the Microsoft games since the dev hell? Could be, could be. Could be that too. Ubisoft and stuff I don't really care about. PC Game Show will show something good though. It's usually at least like a couple projects that are nice. Kind of more excited about all that stuff, to be honest. Like the indie market is more interesting nowadays, than the AAA galore. And Microsoft also is getting a bonus on excitement because of the Game Pass. That's pretty much it. Those AAA games I'm at least still kinda care a little more just because they're on Game Pass. So you can easily get them and easily play them. And without buying new console and stuff too. So that's why PlayStation is kind of nice to see, but also kind of like, whatever. Oh yeah, OTK show also gonna be nice. Yeah, we'll see that. We'll see what's there. Alright, let's go start it up. See what we gonna read them. For now, 1 second. This we had. This I had last time. Remove. Let's see which other ones we have. Which other ones? And this one. And this one. Let's do this one actually. Now that this game is kind of like all over the place, I might as well a little bit get a little bit of this. 1 second. Just gonna get it in here. There we go. All right. Zoom it in a bit. All right, load faster. Good enough. All right. Well, good enough. Let's see. Citizen Sleeper was inspired by tabletop RPGs and gig work. Yeah, Citizen Sleeper is like all over the place. Getting some awards, getting to all platforms. Very nice. Now let's read about this one. Nominated for Excellence in Narrative. Did they actually win it, or was it something? Oh, I think it was something. Was it like Stray or something winning actually this one or some shit? This like from earlier this year when the IGF was happening. It was some like ridiculous stuff, I think, wasn't it? Sleeper sees players trying to survive the complex needs of their mechanical body as a worker on a rundown space station. Garrett Damian Martin, the game's creator, had a chat with game developer about the real world cities that inspired the game's humanist world. How they created believable futuristic folks from working class inspirations, and how the game systems would perfectly capture how luck can often make or break someone living on the margins of a world that doesn't care about them. Who are you and what was your role in developing Citizen Sleeper? Garrett Damian Martin, the mostly solo developer behind Citizen Sleeper. I designed, built, wrote, and did all the 3D art and UI design for the game. Say mostly solo because I worked with Guillaume Singelin on the character art and Amos Rodi on the sound and music. But in terms of the main body of the game, its themes and design, I am the sole author. See, background in making games. Oh, Immortality won that award, oof. Also. Immortality was kind of interesting because he was like pumped on the announcement and stuff, right? Like very, very pog. Everyone was writing about it, but you don't hear or see anything about it. And then it also like out of nowhere, just like getting all the awards and stuff. You don't even remember like seeing it, like in Steam releases like popular or something. Like, dude. It's kind of like it existed in some completely different, world. But that may be just me though. Like we already figured that, not seeing the games on Twitch and stuff, but the thing is I don't even watch Twitch either nowadays. But even like around the news and everything, around what people play, around browsing Steam every week, right? You just like didn't even see the game really. But it happened, and it farmed all the awards. It's gonna be like the problem with some of the awards. Like there's gonna be like super, kind of like with movies, I guess. Movies kind of keep it balanced, I guess. So maybe we'll get somewhat balanced stuff too. But it's like either some super blockbuster AAA awards, or it's like some very niche, super artsy, fedora tipping awards. So like if you don't go full super crazy art house with your game, you're not gonna fit in the second one. In the first one, you're not fitting because you're not AAA. So where do you actually go then? Where do you actually go then? 2020, I released my first game, In Other Waters, which was successful enough for me to get to make a second game. I think I heard about that one, but like it wasn't anything huge. I'm gonna check that one. Also probably like the similar concept of the game, I guess. And before that, my connections to the games industry was mostly through my work as a games critic. My day job, however, was working as a graphic and video designer for theater, events, and exhibitions, so I came from the arts to games. I also have a PhD in experimental literature and an undergraduate degree in puppetry. Damn, son. So you might say I have a fairly atypical background in games. How old is the dude, I wonder? Like, games critic, graphic and video designer with PhD in experimental literature and degree in puppetry also, like, bro. When do you do all that? When do you even do all that? And then also in 2020 already first game out and everything. I think I should step up my game, dude. I think so. Did you come up with the concepts for Citizen Sleeper? Citizen Sleeper emerged from two distinct ideas. First was an intention to try to bring some of the exciting ideas in the independent tabletop RPG scene to video games. As a game master, someone who runs tabletop games, I've seen so much incredibly smart and lightweight design in games like Blades in the Dark, and yet in video game RPGs, I was seeing the same Dungeons and Dragons inspired design over and over. I mean, I wouldn't say it's that prevalent, Dungeons and Dragons design, to be honest. It is popular, but I don't think it's that prevalent, especially outside of like fantasy games, of course. Citizen Sleeper was my experiment in making a different kind of RPG. However, Citizen Sleeper also very distinctly emerges from my own experiences, in particular my time working zero-hour contracts and gig work, my struggles with mental health, and my journey as a non-binary person. After the success of In Other Waters, I knew I had been given a golden ticket, a chance to make any game I wanted. Because of this, I wanted to make something personal, something that I felt connected to the experiences of my generation and the bigger themes of what it feels like to be a person now. And the gig work too. And also running the tabletop, so you find time for that. After all this like main work, then also like the games critique and then developing something on the spare time, I guess. Citizen Sleeper was built in Unity using Playmaker for a majority of the game logic. Also uses Fmod for sound and music implementation. The Playmaker, interesting. Let's see what that is. Sounds like some sort of the plugin there. Also went in the creation of Erlin's Eye, the game's main location. What ideas infused the place and how it came together. Deep love of urban sci-fi, especially the early work of William Gibson. Ah. Well, I mean, that's kind of like the start of like cyberpunk, really. Gibson, the Neuromancer and everything. Urban sci-fi. That's one way to put it, I guess. From the start, I wanted to create a dense, complex, and multi-layered urban space station. And more particularly, Erlen's Eye was inspired by real-world architectural and no man's lands. Places that for various reasons ended up falling between the cracks of nation building and governmental projects and found themselves in the position of being unregulated, lawless and self-governing. Places are often thought of as dangerous and dirty, and in sci-fi usually overrun with immorality and violence. But in real life, that isn't what happens. Without an overarching authority, people organize, build self-sufficiency, and craft networks of support. Sometimes they replicate the authoritarian structure they know, sometimes they build new structures, usually both. The infamous Kowloon walled city was one such place. It has often been depicted as a lawless hellhole in media. However, I did extensive research to understand the Kowloon walled city functioned and organized and existed as a real place, not just a fantasy. It's actually interesting because like I somewhat recently learned about that one. Kind of heard about it before, but like didn't really pay attention. And just recently, like was reading about it. Like Kowloon World City. Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting stuff. But I mean, it was kind of low as hellhole though, in a way. Not because it was like the isolated city, but because like that city was built pretty much like around like, you know, gambling and other stuff. Like the breeding grounds for the illegal activities, let's put it that way. And that's why it even became, you know, that big. And that's why it got shut down later. There's kind of like a replacement for that now, I guess, in a way, just more organized. People still, you know, didn't get their bad habits under control, so they're just finding another outlet for that. They work to make this place feel alive with its characters and their personal schedules and activities. What ideas went into the characters and the things they do. Parkrafting Erlen's Eye is a believable place, was filling it with believable characters. Someone who ended up working in many different jobs while trying to survive in London, where I still live now, and is an eager observer of all the different layers, schedules and lifestyles that make up a city. I drew liberally from my experiences and the people I have met and spoken with when building out the occupants of the Eye. I often get bored by a militaristic focus in most video games sci-fi, so my intent was to create a game about the characters that are usually pushed into the background, but who actually I find to be the most relatable. Bartenders, chefs, dock workers, mechanics, these were the kind of people I wanted in my game. Few mercs and bounty hunters in there too, but I tried to use those characters to question established tropes around those classic sci-fi archetypes. Ideas went into the various things a player could do in the run of a day. Activities and events they could take part in. What did you want this freedom to evoke in the player? Just like with the characters, the activities in Citizen Sleeper are focused around the everyday work that happens in the city. Obviously, there's sci-fi spin to it all, and things can get a bit more out there with the Sleeper's hacking abilities. But it was important to me that building a life on the Eye meant taking on bar shifts, babysitting friends, children, repairing old tech, and picking up contract work. I love the idea that when running a tabletop RPG, your task as the GM is often to make the story happen no matter what the player chooses to do. Wanted that same feeling in Citizen Sleeper, a broad range of activities, all of which could lead to interesting characters and meaningful stories, and allowing the player to really choose the kind of narrative they wanted to invest their time into. Call it freedom, the players are beholden to the needs of their artificial body. What design ideas went to creating your body's needs? Sleeper's bodily decay, a need for stabilizer, draws from both my experiences and things I've observed. Anyone who has ever had a chronic condition or has had to take medicine on a schedule long term will recognize the rhythms the Citizen Sleeper is trying to evoke. Top of that, I wanted a dice system, the one where the dice you have for the day are all rolled at the start of each day, to really capture and represent something we all feel. The idea of waking up and being very aware of the limits of what you can offer in a single day, and then trying to square that with what's in front of you. Like pretty shitty dice we roll in the morning usually. It sounds like. Sounds like for me. The art style brings together the stories and emotions beautifully, tying everything all together. What thoughts went designing the art style? What made it feel right? The beginning, I wanted Citizen Sleeper to have a simple but evocative style, one where you are asked to fill in the details rather than having everything described to you. Was a delicate balance to strike, as the eye needs to be ramshackle without being overly detailed, and punky without feeling stereotypical. Working with Guillaume, we focused on the lived-in aspect of the world, as well as the fashion and the characters, discussing the realities and practicalities of life in the Eye. Simultaneously, we also looked at classic anime like Ghost in the Shell and Cowboy Bebop for the strong aesthetics which perfectly marry stylized colors and designs with very believable and run-down worlds. Ghost in the Shell is also already at this point, I guess you can say, somewhat of a classic of cyberpunk stuff. A game runs off of dice, clocks, and your skills. What went into creation of these systems? What drew you to make these the core of the entire game? Ideas were inspired by mechanics and encountered in tabletop games. Haven't watched this. Well, I mean, the anime itself is like huge. I think the ones that are like standalone as the movies, they are kind of like not that good, I think, if I remember correct. And the good stuff, I think, was running like for a while. Actually, not sure. It's like super long. It was on TV here back in the day. I don't really watch, like, it was like kind of like weird time. I like caught like maybe a couple of episodes back in the day. Seemed kind of nice. It seemed quite far ahead in a way. Especially in the game Blaze in the Dark. Tabletop RPG about risky heists in a dark fantasy Victorian city. Blaze in the Dark excels at the design elements which drive interesting, challenging stories. Cloaks create a sense of dread, mystery, and anticipation as they tick along. Meanwhile, dice rolls that deliver success at a cost mean stories are full of twists and complications. Love the kind of games these mechanics resulted in, so I experimented with my own versions for Citizen Sleeper. That's also part of what I wanted to look into the tabletop game design too. That would be nice. Luck is a massive part of living a precarious or a marginalized life. When the systems and structures around you don't care about you, good or bad luck can make or break you. True. A Blaze in the Dark, you're exposed to luck because you're a criminal running dangerous heists. In Citizen Sleeper, you're exposed to luck because you're a refugee from an oppressive system, marginalized and chronically ill. Saw the way in which I could use these mechanics to express the themes of my game and I ran with them. Challenges did you face in bringing tabletop role-playing like experience into a video game? Did you overcome those challenges? I honestly feel that working with abstracted thematic mechanics like dice rolls and clocks solved way more problems than it created. Having a single system for interacting with the world that could describe anything from fighting a gang member to babysitting a child meant I could tell a vast variety of stories with the game, all for interesting consequences and give the player a lot of agency when it came to choosing their path through the game. I feel like tabletop RPGs are a vast untapped resource for video game design, so for me this is just the beginning of building these kind of games. And that is true, considering how popular all those are, even judging from Kickstarter and everything. There's probably going to be a lot of that stuff. And it's nice that interactive narrative games are also becoming quite popular, like Road Warden and stuff, right? It's really good because I feel it is very nice for people who have some like ideas, you know, stories to tell, and they can do it relatively simple. And with engines and everything, even doable kind of solo, without, you know, spending too much on like the art and music and everything. You still kind of need some of that though, of course. But that's really nice. That's really nice. I think that's a really interesting genre. Well, not something super good for like streams, of course. Because it's a lot of reading. Still, might be not bad. Still kind of plan to play some of these. Because also kind of curious in general how they work. Because that could be something I would, you know, I wouldn't mind maybe even making myself at some point. Could be interesting. Could be very interesting. Camera. And we go back to our game show. What was the name? In Other Waters, right, I think? Let's check that one. I recognize, but I don't remember the first game of the author. I am curious. Because I assume it's kind of like the same type. All the same type of the game. Alright, back. Savage this.